Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Michael, or Kiratze Online. Hopefully you guys are having a great day as usual, and I'm back with some Duelyst. This is the gameplay portion of our decking around episode for Soulreaper Resurrection, a deck that I made just with a heavy Dying Wish theme with Cassiva as sort of an extra way to control the board. And her art is extremely badass. I love it. It's super, super cool looking, and I really like using it. Even if Lilith may be better for a deck like this, I really like Cassiva's art. Plus, the deal 1 damage to a minion actually does come in handy a lot, so I'll get to that in a bit. But my recording stuff messed up a little bit, and I didn't get live recording going on. So the two games I'm about to show you are going to be after commentaries, just through the replay system. But if you guys haven't seen the deck list, or you guys didn't watch the deck building portion of it, you can go back a video so you can see my thought process on when I actually built the deck, as with every decking round episode. But this is the final product is just a really, really good value-based resurrection style deck, where we're using cards like Nether Summoning and Keeper of the Veil to get back really, really either well-statted creatures like Hailstone Golem or Chaos Elemental, or just creatures with really good Dying Wish effects like Reaper, Duelyst, Jaxi, and Vorpal Reaper. But yeah, the main reason I wanted to build this deck was because of Duelyst, because of the buff to her, and oh my gosh, Duelyst is so awesome. I love Duelyst, one of my favorite cards, and I think especially now with the slower pace of the game, Duelyst is just so much better with the rule change, easier to keep alive, especially now with the health buff and stuff like that. But anyways, I won't talk about the deck. If you guys want to hear my thoughts on the deck and my thought process going into building the deck, you guys can look at my previous video. But otherwise, let's get to the ranked games. And like I said in my deck building portion, guys, it was, I haven't played the game since for a month, as you can see here. And so my ranking has tanked. I am just a lowly silver now, so don't expect high quality games, but the decking around first impressions gameplays are really only just to give you guys a taste of the games anyways, just so you see how the deck draws, how smoothly it runs, and you guys can make your own tweaks to the deck, make it your own. I encouraged people to deck build, and these are just my own ideas, that you guys are better players and deck builders than me anyways, and it's awesome that we have a little fast forward button as well. That's pretty cool. I'm going to just turn the sound down so you guys can actually hear me while the gameplay is going on. But we'll leave at 1.5. I don't think that'll be too fast. Oh, wow, that actually is really fast. How do you go back? Oh, gosh. Okay, there we go. So you'll notice I mulliganed away some stuff. I really like how you have a stock full hand pretty much nowadays. 5 out of 6 cards. Really, really awesome. I think it's a little too loud, too. Noise. So Chaos Elemental was just really, really good. I noticed he just placed Aethermaster back, so it's a little bit scary. But he has no rush of getting these minion tiles or mana tiles, so I have no worries in just leaving them open so I can have a better turn next turn. So I wanted to maximize my mana. I could have played 2 2-drops, but just in case he's playing Arclight Regalia or something like that, I want to keep the Rust Crawler in case. But he's Mechazor, so I definitely want to try and end the game as soon as possible, because we don't have Crossbones or any way to deal with Mechazor. So the reason I do this is because I can end up healing him anyways. And I want to save my Grasp of Agony, because the way he's positioning himself, there's a very good chance I'll be able to get some extra value out of Grasp of Agony. And this deck is all about outvaluing your opponent, getting good 2-for-1s, just keeping your minions alive so they have to expend more resources so you to deal with your single card. So that's why we have Dying Wish creatures and just good statted minions. And this is why I really, really like Chaos Elemental, especially when you are playing Healing Mystic in the deck. Being able to do stuff like this and just start building up a board is insanely good. And here's exactly what I was talking about when we're having some Grasp of Agony value. So there's a couple of ways I could have gone about this. I could have just ran up Chaos Elemental, hit this with Grasp of Agony, and that'd be that. I didn't really want to risk that the Chaos Elemental getting into the corner. So I would rather have just 4 going to his face. Once you start building a board, and once you can start getting advantages, you really want to start pressuring, and Chaos Elemental is really, really good for early board pressure. But we aren't too scared of them dying, because Nether Summoning, getting like 2 Chaos Elementals back, or getting Chaos Elemental on something else is perfectly fine. So what I end up doing is we do want to Grasp of Agony this. That is easily the right choice. And this also allows me to grab the Mana Tile, so I can play Grasp of Agony, Abyssal Scar, which helps us with the board control, which means Healing Mystic can actually end up killing this. And then it still allows us to play our Hailstone Golem, which is really, really good. So this is why I really like Cassiva's ability. Even though we aren't playing a Shadow Nova deck, it does also give us a little bit of a poker face almost, because our opponent may think, okay, we're building Shadow Creep, so let's play accordingly. But we really aren't. We're really just using it for the deal 1 damage to a minion, but the extra Shadow Creep tiles do make positioning a little bit harder for your opponent once you start cornering them, which is what this deck likes to do. You can see we're just sort of building mid-sized bodies, and really makes it hard for your opponent to deal with them. I really love that Hailstone Golem buff. It just makes it really, really awesome to get back with cards like Nether Summoning, and it's just super well statted. Very, very tough to kill. So here, I sort of go for the little bit of a gamble. I was hoping to, I can't remember what I do end up getting, but the reason I do it this way, now I could have just used Hailstone Golem, and Hailstone Golem would have still been alive. We could have just, Healing Mystic, and healed it back up so it doesn't die to just a general attack. I do want to keep Hailstone Golem fairly high health, though, because of cards like Holy Immolation. Another option I could have done is I could have went down Healing Mystic. I could have walked Hailstone Golem down, block him off the Mana Tile, run up, and then hit the chassis with my face, and then heal myself. That is another option. Or I could have just went Spectral Blade. But I wanted to be able to use Nether Summoning, and being able to get back Nether Summoning or Chaos Elemental is perfectly fine. Plus, getting the chance to get back his chassis would be a huge play. And this is why we really like Nether Summoning with just big, solid, statted creatures. So here I just want to start cornering him. Here I move Hailstone Golem to give me the best chance of getting a good positioning on my Nether Summoning. We do get the chassis back, which is awesome, and we do get our Chaos Elemental back, since you can really control. You have very good control with Nether Summoning when you're playing decks like this, where there's not a lot of small minions. Rather, you're using just good, solid, big-sized minions to really control trades and stuff like that, and it is a lot easier to control. So here we have a very scary board, and if he had a Holy Immolation, he could have easily done some work, but he didn't. I probably should have played around Holy Immolation, but it wasn't really me thinking properly. Here he Divine Bonds my Hailstone Golem, because he knows he is donezo, because we just have an overwhelming board, and we can just keep pressuring we can just keep pressuring our opponent, essentially. So that is the idea with this deck. You just want to gain incremental advantage through just really solid minions, and then just start overrunning your opponent. That's pretty much the name of the game. And then just use cards like Spectral Revenant or Vorpal Reaver with Shadow Reflection, just to sort of give a final sort of punch to your opponent, just to sort of kill him off. Ugh. Again, I apologize. I'm recording this right after the deck building portion, so I still have my sniffles a little bit. Alright, so here we're playing against Songhai, the alternate skin for Songhai, which can make a Heartseeker. A little bit scary, because we have really no other way to deal with it other than our single Breath of the Unborn and our 2 Demonic Lures. But this is our ability is a really nice counter to her ability. We get extra value countering her ability, where she loses all of the value out of that 1 mana, or that 2 mana that she spends, 1 mana that she spends on the ability. So here I want to start pressuring. I was debating on just putting it here, but I really didn't want to give Songhai the extra tempo on the extra mana tile, so I opted just to block off that mana tile. May or may not have been the right choice. I don't know. It does also protect the back a little better, just in case Kato Assassin gets moved up. So here we can see she's playing a ranged deck. A little bit scary, because it's really tough for us to deal with ranged stuff. And here, this is a good example of the problem playing these kinds of decks in the new rule change. You can see that she's down to 2 cards already, and she really hasn't done much in terms of hurting me or anything like that, which is what Songhai really wants to do. With a ranged deck like this, though, you're probably playing a little more control anyway, so I guess it sort of makes sense. So used 2 cards to get rid of my 1 card. I'm perfectly happy with that. Again, we're looking to try to outvalue our opponent and out-resource our opponent. So There isn't much healing in the deck, but really you'll notice a lot of the time she'll opt for just killing off my creatures because they're quite threatening. You know, a 5/3 is nothing to scoff at. I really don't care about the Kaido Assassin because we have Spectral Blades. If it does happen to get close and hit me for, 3, that is perfectly fine. I'll just kill it off later. My health, I'm still at full health, so it's perfectly fine. And now we have a little way of distracting. So I don't really understand this. Again, this is Silver plays, so really wanted to kill that Tombstone. Opted to use a buff card, which probably would have gone better with the Widowmaker here, just to kill us off very quickly. And right here, we have Keeper of the Veil, which we can potentially get back something good. Getting back either our Duelyst or our Chaos Elemental. Duelyst would be better, because it would have a chance to trade with Widowmaker. But, we do get our Chaos Elemental, which is still very threatening, and which is still really, really good value. Getting a 3/4 and a 4/4 for 5 mana is really, really good for us. So he has a Lantern Fox and Inner Focus, which is able to take out quite a few of our stuff. So right here, he is able to play quite well at controlling the board, but because he's expending so many resources, and a lot of them one-time resources into dealing with our cards, that's fine with us, because when we're playing against Songhai, it's all about keeping our health total high. So if we can just distract him with our minions, that is good for us. We do have a lot of ways to end the game still. It's just a matter of trying to get close. I'm really looking for cards like Demonic Lure and ways to be able to get close to Widowmaker, because this is really, really threatening once we don't have a board left. So he is expending pretty much everything to control the board, which is good for him. So I mean, his game plan is right. It's just a matter of hopefully I don't draw what I need to stay alive and to finish the game before he does, essentially. So we end up drawing like so many Spectral Blades this game, you'll find out. So right here, take out the Lantern Fox with our ability, make a Shadow Creep tile, and then we end up just playing a Duelyst to sort of scare him off. Maybe wasn't the best idea, since I know he has a Phoenix Fire. Maybe Reaper would have been better, but they're both 5/3s. They're both very distracting. And I think I'd rather get the Tomb out there just in case it happens to spawn in a good spot where it can buff it with Shadow Reflection and take out the Widowmaker. It would be nice because the Tombstone would have actually stayed alive as well. So here it's getting a little scary now that he can start just punishing me with Widowmaker. But the nice thing is you can see that our ability does counter her ability and keeps it in check. We actually get extra value out of it, which is nice. So here I can lock her down. I want to keep her in place where I can start just moving up. I still want to try and keep out of the range of Backstab, and you can just take out the Widowmaker with our Abyssal Scar. So you can see we have a lot of Spectral Blades as well. They are pretty useless at the moment. Worst case scenario, I can stack them to kill off the Widowmaker, but I still would be taking quite a bit of hit to health. So I really need to try to find a way to end the game, or at least try to find some healing. Healing Mystics are pretty much our only form of healing. But you can see he's still really scared, and he really wants to protect this Widowmaker. Not really sure why he moved here. Probably just to give it some more mobility so it doesn't get cornered. And here, he's trying to take out the Tombstone. So the Tombstone is really good at locking down your opponent, just being a distraction. And as you can see, we can buff it with Shadow Reflection. Here we get a Vorpal Reaver, which is awesome. So with Shadow Reflection and Vorpal Reaver, it's a very easy way to end the game, as you're just about to see. My opponent only has one card, so normally doing all-in plays like this is a little sketchy, especially when you're only at 11 health against Songhai. But the chances of there's a difference between playing to not lose and playing to win. I could have just stacked my Spectral Blades, walk down, hit Widowmaker, try and control the board, but it wouldn't get me any closer to winning, and I'd actually be moving further away from winning. So I pretty much opt for just getting out a Spectral Blade, killing off at least one threat without the worry about losing any health, and then just placing Vorpal Reaver, because I know if she can't kill it next turn or deal with it, I win next turn with Shadow Reflection. It's an easy 22 damage. So that's a really, really strong finisher, and using Duelyst to lock down your opponent while you build this stuff like this is sort of another way you can win with this deck. So that's why you have to really worry about just spells and things like that, but we're playing against a deck that is mainly focused on range and using their ranged creatures to deal damage and control the board through that. So it's a little worse. Harry's trying to block me off, but he probably knows in his heart that he is probably going to die next turn. Even if he didn't die this turn, 12 damage is nothing to scoff at if I happen to have a lot of healing or something and I was able to kill off this. But I do have the Shadow Reflection. Easy 1-2 punch from Vorpal Reaver is a quick way to finish the game. Probably feel a little bad. I mean, no one likes losing to stuff like this, but it is part of the game. Vorpal Reaver Shadow Reflection is a very real thing, and especially with people drawing less removal nowadays, building up to stuff like that is a little easier, and you'll notice just locking down your opponent is very, very effective with Duelyst's Tombstone. Duelyst's Tombstone can be a very, very good distraction against decks like this that don't have a lot of ways to deal with it, I guess. But those are the 2 games, you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed them. I'm sure you guys will point out my misplays and all that fun stuff, but I apologize. I know I'm not the greatest player, and I never will be, but I love building decks. I love showing you guys new ideas, and hopefully we'll get to some more unique ideas in the future. I wanted to build something a little more safe this time, just to sort of try out the new rule change a little more. But a deck like this works out really well when you're focused on value and just squeezing as much things as you can out of one card. And distracting your opponent with big minions. It always works out. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys have a great night, day, morning, wherever you are, and I will talk to you guys later.